Welcome back to Basin Motorsports for another day here in the garage. So today you might call it Race Louver Day. So I am working in partnership with Race Louvers to put on a set of their center and side heat extraction louvers that are made specifically off of my car. So if you know, on the WideFox here behind me, it uses a OEM Ford hood. It's a 79 to 82. Now they didn't have these in their inventory, so I sent them some basically dimensions off of my hood that they then made some vents for, and I'm kind of the guinea pig as you were putting these on a 79 to 82 hood. So this video here is really kind of be the behind the scenes of what I've been doing. I'm doing 3 videos today. One is going to be the center vents themselves, one is the side vents, and then this one will be behind the scenes of stuff that's really not covered in installation. But you know me, I've always got other stuff going on in the background, and I'm just trying to keep you in, I guess, behind the scenes of what I actually do behind installations to keep everything moving forward. The madness you see here is actually all the way into the instructions from steps 1 through step 9. Step 10 is literally taking the hood off and start cutting. So 9 is through all the layout here. And what you see is that I've cut out the templates themselves with a pair of scissors. I've run string across to know exactly where my radiator sits, which is this line down here. They recommend the hood louver start at a 2-inch behind, so you can see a 2-inch line running across. And then I've got them set out to where the centers, they're spaced out 1 inch between. Based off the center line, they're 1/2 inch to each side. And then I have the side vents down here in these channels that align up visually this way. Now remember, heat always comes in this way and it's going to disperse out in the engine, so it's going to go kind of at an angle up that way. So having the sides based further back than the edge of the centers, 1 looks good and 2 is more functional that way. So there you go. Bye, Felicia. That's the metal there that's going to be taken out, and we're going to jump right into starting to cut the hood. Man, I tell you what, this is the scary part. All this other stuff can be taken off. This is the scary part when you get out some cutting tools. So now that I'm ready to take the hood off, I have a little secret for you guys in the behind the scenes here. Normally when I take the hood off, I'm always working alone. Usually because I'm working odd hours and that, I don't usually, because the hoods aren't that heavy to me, I don't go say, hey honey, have my wife come in and help me. Sometimes I do, most of the time I don't. So if you guys are out to working alone, here's a secret tip you can kind of do, and it's not going to be a secret after this anymore. Take an old moving blanket, and I want you guys to put it between the hood itself, tuck it down over the cowl and in there. As you take out the bolts and release the hood will flop down away from the hood itself, the hood hinge I should say. It will come down away from the hood. What tends to happen is the hood slides down to the cowl. When they make contact, it's usually the point of the hood hitting either the fender or the cowl. It tends to scratch. Especially on a vinyl wrap, tender paint, anything like that, it always scratches. So what I found is if I put a blanket down between the hood and the cowl, etc., as I take those hood hinges off, the prop rod will keep it up and actually keeps gravity pushing it down. I can just set it then down on the cowl hood itself. It doesn't slide around. It's pretty easy to handle. I can come up front, I can take the prop rod off, and then I can kind of lift the hood up off the car and walk it over. Now as I set this aside, a couple of things I'm going to do also while I have the hood off. I do have some new grommets for the hood hinge into the cowl section there. I've got to replace those. Just got some old ones. And I'm also going to paint the hood hinges. The red ones that are on here are Wild Strawberry. These came off the 92 that I had, 4 years ago they got wrecked. So I'm going to finally replace these, or not replace, I'm going to repaint them with the aluminum color that matches the engine bay. Finally, I've been waiting to be able to do this, so I'm going to go ahead and paint those. As a side note, it's not going to be in the installation of the hood, vents and that, because it has nothing to do with it. But background, you're going to see those change probably as the video goes on. So one of the unfortunate parts of always going back in after a build and doing some of the other things. You guys remember a while ago, probably a year ago, I put on this Design Engineering underhood insulator they'd sent me to try out. Well, I put that on, and now that it's going to be in the way of the race louver heat extractors in the hood, I basically had to cut out at least half of it, trying to get space for these hood louvers to go in. So rather than just totally get rid of it, I'm going to keep it. I like the look of it the way it is, at least in the front and the back. The unfortunate part is sometimes you got to strip out stuff you've already done to make room for new stuff. We did it. We did it. Somebody let me loose with a cutting wheel, and we did it. We put the vents in there. They're not fastened down yet, obviously, but you can see everything there fits well right back in there. Now I need to go through and drill out for these spots. So one thing I'll note here is that these are flat. The louvers themselves are flat where the hood is curved. So one thing I'll have to do is see how this kind of rocks down. This is actually going to be stronger than the hood because the hood's kind of flimsy at this point. You can see that because I take out the inner structure. But I think once you actually bolt these together or rivet them together, these are going to flatten out and look really, really good. But I'm pretty excited. I just need to now mark my holes, drill my mounting holes, and then we can peel off the tape, put on some paint to make sure everything is sealed up. There's no rust, and then we're going to take the hood inside and throw it back on the car. All right, so I got all the hood hinges painted here. So both hinges painted. Now again, this is the aluminum color that I did the engine bay with, so everything is gonna match. This is just lightly scuffed with some 220 sandpaper. Just scuffed it out there, cleaned it with just glass cleaner, really, just to clean off all the dirt and stuff. 2 coats of paint, looks really good. And the new hood hinge rubber cups. Now these have a metal insert inside, but these are rubber on the face, so clean these, just clean them up. You can do the same thing, glass cleaner that way. 2 coats of paint to make sure they're all the way covered. And then when these go together, I'll just go in like that. Now I've seen people leave these hood hinges just black. Since my engine bay is silver, I didn't really want just a black spot right there. So these are now aluminum, same with the hinges, same with the firewall, so they'll kind of all blend together. Now it's just a matter of putting it all back together and getting the hood ready to bolt on. All right, so here's the finished product. Now I did run into a little bit of trouble with the fasteners. So I didn't use the rivets that Race Louvers sends with it. Because I vinyl wrapped this hood and the whole car and all that stuff, I didn't want to have to drill out rivets to have to put them back in. So I went and bought some button head fasteners. Now these are a 10-24. You only need them in a 1/2 inch. Of course my camera's not going to focus, but you only need them in a 1/2 inch there, and they will really go on there easily. Everything fits fine, but you can see, I'm missing some nuts on the back because the bargain bin, at my local hardware store, guess what? They're all mixed together because everybody just goes, they're all the same size. Well, I even triple checked everything. I still didn't get it right. So I'm going to do that tomorrow, go get some new ones. But here, if I could stand back and look, here's what everything looks like all put in together. Straight down the center of the hood, everything looks good. And pretty happy with how they all came out. They do suck down nice, I will say that for sure. Those fasteners, they do suck down to the hood very, very well. Very much. Now a note that I did take the hinges out. I took everything apart, so now, of course, now my hood doesn't fit where the darn. So I've got to fix this again. Now with those going in, I think if you watch the install videos, you'll probably see everything there. There's no I guess there's no hidden secrets to it. I didn't really cut anything out of the install. Everything went together really well. I think I measured everything probably at least 3 times to be able to figure out where everything went and all that. So otherwise, I'm really happy with the way everything fits. It all fits really good, and you can always adjust the things that you don't like. You can always add more fasteners or anything else, but you don't need to. I'm going to do a couple more videos on this, on how they work, how they add front grip, how they lower temperatures, I've got some secret stuff coming for that I think you guys really enjoy, but otherwise, I think that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions, drop me down a comment down there. There's really nothing hard about this. You need a lot of tools, and I'll put all those tools down in the description of everything I used. I didn't have to go buy any tools. How about that? And I don't have a lot of tools here in the garage. So that should tell you it doesn't take a lot of tools. It just takes the right tools to be able to do this. But otherwise, if you have any questions, shoot them over to the guys at Race Louvers. Let them know you saw the install here on my channel. They do have them now. This is the first set for the 79 to 82 hood, the OEM metal hood. And they do have plenty of other Fox guys. And I think Al that works there is a Fox guy. So say, hey, what's up, Al? How you doing? That's it. Everything's good. Otherwise, if you guys have any questions, drop a comment. That's it from Basin Motorsports. We'll see you next time. Bye, Felicia.